Hey, so I kind of want to explain a few things, right? So I teased something in our Discord, right? And that was that we were working on something. I teased something over on Twitter, and it kind of got a lot of thoughts of what the hell's going on with the channel, right? And I want to talk about that right now. So yesterday, I was just sitting on bed. We were preparing to film a One Piece video and a video on Spider-Man, and we kind of got to thinking, like, we really don't have a lot of one thing anymore, and that's time, right? So we're like, we need to have a very, very adult discussion of what's going to happen. What are we going to do? Where are we going to kind of how are we going to handle this channel, right? Because we're not living up to our promises to you guys, to ourselves. We're definitely not having the quality of things that we want to do. I'm spending more time on Twitch with you guys than on the channel with you guys, right? So we sat down, we got in this like voice memo heavy mode and like, what do we want to do? And we came up with like 3 very, very adult options of like what we're going to do, right? Those options were ride off into the sunset and retire the channel. We were going to continue to be sporadic, or they were going to be what we chose. And I'm going to break down the thought process between all of those here. And the last one was go back to podcast format. And I'll explain like what I mean by that and how that differs from what you're getting now. So the first one was the scary one, right? Because it's a very, very strong possibility that it would have been what we chose, because all of us are evolving in our lives. We all have a lot of different opinions. We have a lot of different like desires for what we want to do, and we all have very different lives than we have when we start being content creators. I'm obviously, like, you can see behind me that there's like boxes and shit from where we've been packing and moving here, and obviously we talked about Red potentially moving here, and then I ended up posting up on Twitter a few days ago, around the same time frame actually, that my partner and I got our place. So that kind of threw a wrench into everything, because at the end of the day, as fucked as it is to say, I'm going to look out for myself and my partner above all else there, because it is very, very difficult to get a place in Michigan right now. It is very difficult to get into a place in the time frame that you want in Michigan right now. So when we got it, we jumped on it. Middle of the month, we'll be relocating to that new place, and it's going to be a few days before we get everything back up and running on my end. So anything that we do record will be remote for me through my phone and through a small podcast mic for that. So yeah, there's that. Red and his partner are also in the process of moving. That'll be sometime in the next few months as well. So that also throws a wrench into that. So like, as I'm getting everything set up at my place, they'll be tearing everything in theirs down. And apologies, I know that's very, very loud. I saw it peek into the red. That kind of throws a wrench into that. And then Thurman having very, very busy time with his job. So we really don't have a lot of time. So we were like, is it best to just pack it all in? And then me just focus on streaming on Twitch, because I enjoy doing that for you guys. And kind of rebranding that Twitch and just retiring this name. So that was something that was a very, very big thought in the back of my head during that as well, that portion of it. So yeah. Second one being very, very sporadic and just not knowing when the hell we're going to get video out, because maybe we're not feeling this, or we're not all feeling that. So would that be a solo video? Would that be something that just falls by the wayside and we end up doing like a 17 chapter catch up and it being all over the place? You see how that's been going here recently as well. So it's something we didn't want to do. So we decided on going back to podcast format. And what I mean by that is like the old school Control Chaos podcast, what gave us this name when we rebranded from Planet Unity back in the day. If you've been a long-time follower, you know what that is and how that kind of spiraled into what we do now. You know, when we transitioned over to this like manga-centric style. But obviously our tastes have evolved a lot. Like Thurman and I were going to talk webtoons, and we wanted to talk other media, and being manga centric in the traditional sense doesn't really fit that. So we kind of have went to what a lot of YouTubers end up doing near the apex of their career is just podcasts. Like you see it with Rooster Teeth with like 19 million different podcasts on their end. You see it with like fucking Trash Talk spinning out of like Gigook and all of them for our branch over there. That kind of thing, right? So we want to talk about a lot of different topics than just manga and anime and the like. And this gives us a chance to bring in all collaborators, new collaborators, guests, friends, foes, family, whatever, and it not affect our traditional like fucking. And on this chapter, we saw Vanika's boobies flop magnificently because at the apex of her spin, she graced over to Noelle with a smile. That kind of thing. We get to break out of that mold and into our wackiness like that, right? Because with collaborators, you get to feel them out and have a nice little taste of a different viewpoint, right? Other than us three jacking each other off. Because that kind of is what every video has become. It's like, I don't agree with that point, David, but I agree with this one. And I don't agree with that, Thurman, but I do agree with you here. And it ends up turning into the same video every fucking time we sit down to record. And that becomes really boring to you guys. So we wanted to do something different. And something that we have the time to do. And we won't be burnt out talking about the same 4 fucking series over and over and over again. Obviously, when Chainsaw Man comes back, we'll do that. But this also gives us a chance to have more time to do skits because we're not doing 4, 5, 6 videos. We're just doing one very long discussion, one very long conversation for you guys. Every 2 weeks right now is what we're planning on doing. We just filmed the pilot of it. I'm also going to try to get them up on Spotify, see what goes into that, iTunes, Google Podcasts, stuff like that, to where you guys can just download them that way and listen to them at work, on the bus, whatever you're doing right now. It's fucking New Year's Day when I'm recording this. So we'll be able to, sit down, do those things, and you can have those, wherever you are, instead of having YouTube without the premium, no background player, you know how it be. And this will also, I feel like, kind of revitalize what we have lost through like the last 2-3 years, because there's been more than one occasion where we've had that conversation of, do we retire? That's a very odd term to think of in the content creation sphere, because nobody really stays retired. Nobody actually, walks away from this. They end up doing a different account or going to a different platform. That's a very real thought, because there's been a lot of burnout, there's been a lot of downs, and there's also been a lot of ups, because this community has been an amazing blessing for all of us. It's helped us creatively, it's helped us emotionally, and without you guys, we really would not have had as much of a beautiful friendship that we've had, because you've helped feed into our friendship. So we didn't want to just sit down and abandon this and kind of each other, I do want to touch on another thing here is like we've redone the Discord a little bit, the mods and I have. We had an incident that I've talked about over on the social media that we had to set up rules, because apparently a broad "don't be a dick" isn't enough for a lot of people. So we have a rule bot now. You can go in and react with the old channel logo with the cage, and that will grant you full access to the server, besides like the welcome channels and all that. And then you can also, if you so choose, select your pronouns that you wish to be addressed by. And then we can see them and we can gender you properly, because that is a very important thing to me, at least, and to a lot of our mods and community members as well, because at the end of the day, that server is meant to be a safe haven for all of our fans and all of our community, and is one of the most fun things we have outside of our content is that. And interacting with you is always amazing. It's so much fun to sit down and bullshit with you guys. So reminder that is a thing that exists, and you can come and join it. Also, the Twitch, because of how things are progressing right now, we're going to basically do like shorter streams until caught up with the traditional Shonen Jump manga, and then we're going to resume playthroughs of things over there. And also, Brad and I are going to finish Fire Punch, and he's going to also binge Record of Ragnarok, as he discussed at the end of the pilot of this podcast that we're launching or relaunching. I don't know how he's going to title it, if it's going to be bundled into the retro, or if it's going to be just a new format for that. And that's his game. This update video is mine. So yeah, that our socials are all linked in the banner. So come follow us over there. The ARG style shit that I was doing on our Twitter is now kind of completed as this gets uploaded. I wanted to use this little soft reboot and kind of get you guys talking and interacting with us and kind of guessing what we were doing, because this project obviously is very, very important to us as creators, because this is where we flourish the most, I feel like. Obviously, like, manga is still a focus, but being able to talk about other things and not feel bogged down by a time code and algorithmic bullshit is very, very fucking freeing, you know? So until that podcast gets uploaded tomorrow, peace, everyone.